Hi everybody, I'm Matthew Dixon, the founder of eBay.io cryptocurrency ratings, and I'm pleased to join you today on 3.0 TV to give you the latest traders report. So we're going to begin. We had some news out on Friday, non-farm payrolls out of the US. Now this is really important because it flavors the interest rate expectations. We've got a rate decision coming up on September the 17th. These meetings are about every 6 weeks to decide interest rates in the US. The reason it has such importance is because interest rates really affect the state of the economy, the vibrance of the economy. So as interest rates rise higher and higher, the economy tends to slow because the cost of servicing debt is that much higher. There's less money available in the economy to invest into risk assets and cryptocurrencies and the like. So the fact that we've got potentially an interest rate cut coming is potentially positive for risk assets like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So as we get more and more data that tells us the likelihood of a cut, it's definitely going to influence the prices, risk asset prices. So at the moment, I'm using the CME FedWatch tool. You can see here we have a 90.1% chance. This is for the September 17th Fed meeting. 90.1% chance that we're going to see a 25 basis point cut in interest rates. And we have 9.9% chance that we're going to actually see a 50 basis point cut in interest rates. So add those two together, it means at the moment there's priced in a 100% chance of a cut in interest rates. And this has shifted quite a lot recently towards a softer outlook on interest rates. And this should filter through to better risk asset prices. So we'll look at those charts in a moment to see. But let's just focus for a little bit longer on interest rates, what the expectations are. So we can see that the likelihood is at the moment of a cut of 25 basis points to take us to 4 to 4.25% range. So remember that 4 to 4.25%, that's for September. Let's go on to the October 29 meeting, and we can see that the vast majority here, is actually set for another cut in interest rates from that 4 to 4.25 to 3.75 to 4. So again, remember 3.75 to 4, the majority is for a cut again. That'll be a second cut in a row in October. So then let's look at the December, the last meeting of the year. And even in December, we have yet another vast majority for a cut. So at the moment, we actually have priced in 3 cuts for this year. The remaining 3 meetings are all at the moment priced in as interest rate cuts, and potentially much more to come. So if we were to look at all the cuts for the next 12 months, potentially, that's 9 meetings ahead of us. 6 of those meetings at the moment have a cut priced in. So they're really looking to reduce interest rates. This tells me they're a little bit worried about the economy, and they're saying they're going to have to try to stimulate growth by cutting interest rates. So let's move over to some of the crypto assets to see how that might factor in. Now, here's Jasmy. I use this one as it's, a very, very popular token. And I believe we have quite a clear chart pattern. We have what appears to be 5 waves up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got a 5-wave move there. The third wave was also made up of 5 waves. So it's a nice 5-wave move higher. Then we've got a correction down. Then we have another 5-wave move higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have another 3-wave correction down. Now, I believe with somewhere near the end of that correction down, and following these corrective moves, we should at some point see a push higher I've got a minimum target here of 2.3 cents. I think we could go higher than that. But we're round about that area, and we actually have what's called hidden bearish divergence at the moment. That's a situation where basically you have higher lows in price and you have lower lows, or at least level troughs on RSI. So although this is a minimum situation for the divergence, and in this case it's hidden bullish divergence, which tells us of a continuation of prices higher is most likely. The minimum requirement for that with RSI is actually to have a level RSI, level troughs here, which is exactly what we have. So it's a minimum requirement for divergence, but it's there. And bearing in mind all the other considerations, the fact that we have an ABC, which is corrective, 3 waves down is corrective, and other indicators as well, and the fundamental news of softening interest rates coming ahead of us, then that's actually quite positive, I believe, for the outlook for Jasmy. So I'm really positive there. Let's just flip over quickly to Bitcoin. Again, we've had some nice movement for Bitcoin. It's been very predictive. We're in a final fourth wave higher, by the way. This vertical line here is round about where we'd expect the cycle peak to be. If you remember, Bitcoin has halving cycles every 4 years, and this is basically uh, this is not the halving cycle itself. If I just scroll out a bit, I'll show you. I've got the halving cycle was in red, but some way into a halving cycle, around about one third of the way in, we normally see a peak in the Bitcoin price. So that's basically what we're expecting here, near future, somewhere around this area. It's not precise, but somewhere around here, we would expect a peak in the Bitcoin price. Now that aligns perfectly with our Elliott wave expectation, where we have a red wave 4, that's the big scale, and then we're working on a red wave 5, which should be somewhere up here at a new all-time high for Bitcoin. And that fifth wave will itself be broken into 5 waves. So we can see here wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And even wave 3 is broken into 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's really nice, satisfying, good looking Elliott wave count there. And we're looking, it doesn't have to be precisely, as I say, but somewhere around here, we would expect, based on cycle analysis, that you'd expect some sort of peak in Bitcoin. Maybe not here, but this actually is showing a potential peak on September 17th, which is the interest rate decision. It may be beyond that a little while. We may get more of a pump in risk assets. Wave 5 could take us, a little bit higher than that. But it's giving us an indication that we're getting somewhere near. And we did have, we talked about divergences earlier. We did have on a different time scale, probably the 4 hour. I'll just flip to the 4 hour. Yeah, that's the one. So we did have basically a bullish divergence down here, hidden bullish divergence, price moved higher. Here, we actually had a regular bearish divergence that was high highs on price, corresponding lower highs on RSI, and we saw the price pushing down. These divergences don't have to continue forever. We're right in the middle on RSI. So there's a real possibility and likelihood, I think, that we're going to push higher in that final push to the upside to give us that final high, new all-time high, I believe, for Bitcoin. So we're there or thereabouts. For me, it's a great opportunity to buy the dips, and it's the same across most cryptos. So Ethereum is a very similar situation where we can see this corrective overlapping choppy movement down here. It should resolve higher at some point soon to give us another high for Ethereum. Solana again is yet another one which is looking looking impulsive. We're getting higher highs on price in general. Let's just see, we need a higher high over here, but we're seeing higher highs and higher lows in general with prices. So that's quite constructive for Solana. So I do expect that to push somewhat higher. A couple of possibilities for the count there. I will just finish with not gold. I'm going to finish on XRP, which I've followed quite closely recently. Let me just scroll out a little bit to show you the overall expectation here. So this final wave higher, I'm expecting from this wave 4, just like Bitcoin, I think work on a fifth wave to the upside. And we've had so far, we can see wave 1 in this circled area, that's wave 1. Then choppy ABC down for wave 2. Nice impulsive 5-wave move up for wave 3. And basically a 3-wave move down for the fourth wave here. And then I'm expecting a push higher. It looks like we've already begun that push higher. For this wave count to remain valid, we can't cross below this area for wave 1. Otherwise, wave 4 would invalidate. If it dips below this dashed line, it would invalidate the wave count. We'd have to look at it all again with a fresh set of eyes and review the count. But at the moment, it actually obeys all the rules, and we're looking for a push higher for XRP, and should take us to new all-time highs above that 367 sort of level. That's really good. And then I think I'll just finish finally on one which I stayed away from Pump.fun. I know it's an amazing protocol. I stayed away for some time after its launch on Binance because it was clearly We can see here the dump situation that we had, big dump in the price. But we had very clear, looked at a micro analysis. We had 11 waves higher, 11 waves down. That's corrective. So I think we're going to get a nice 5 wave higher. And because pump is a relatively volatile token, I think it should go wave three. If that's wave one, two, wave three should take us probably to at least the 2.618. Now, I measured that. That's around about 30%. Sorry, is it 30? It's more than that, I think, but at least 30. I'll just measure it so we can see. So from the current sort of price around here to around 30%. So around about 30% higher. I actually posted this morning on my trade group. And again, you can check a lot of my posts on MD Trade or at MD Trade on Twitter, on X. You'll see a lot of my regular updates. But I was saying that pump is a good opportunity right now. We had the big fall, the big dump. We've had a correction up, a correction down. We should now get an impulse higher. As I say, this will be a reasonable expectation. There'll probably be resistance around the 1.618 here, just above. But if we were to break through and retest, I think we're definitely going up to the 2.618 and possibly beyond. Could be 4.236, which is higher again, right up here. Much, much higher. So that's just one of the smaller altcoins. I say smaller, it's a very, very popular one, actually. And I've heard a lot of news about developments going on behind the scenes, new things that are coming into play. So it's one of my favorites. Again, do your own due diligence. You need to actually do that to make your own decisions. We don't offer financial advice, but we just offer some nice ideas here that you might like to delve deeper into and make some trading decisions yourself. So that's it for today.